Well, hey everyone, happy Friday. Thank you for joining me live today. My name is Cheryl Pace. So today is one of those days where I kind of feel like I have gotten divine little nudge to talk about something in particular, and that is weeds. And I got this idea when I was out cutting some weeds. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you today about why it's really important to take care of the weeds in our life. This is kind of a really cool story. I actually printed out, I do a blog, I don't know if you knew that, but I typed it up real quick because I didn't want to forget and printed it out. So I hope I don't sound like I'm reading, but I kind of am. Anyway, earlier today I went into the far back corner of our property behind the fence where these weeds were just taking over. They were starting to poke through the fence and they were starting to overtake my hedges and my lemon tree. Hey Sherry, how are you today? So as I was clipping the weeds, I started noticing some really beautiful dark green leaves poking through all of the briars and the dried grass. And I thought, oh my goodness, I forgot there was a camellia tree under here. So as I pulled back the mat of weeds, I remembered that tree was there. And I don't know if you know much about camellia trees, but they grow, oh my gosh, the foliage is beautiful. They grow these gorgeous pink flowers. And I couldn't believe that I had forgotten about it. It was kind of like, I'm serious, like a mat of weeds. I'll put the picture in the comments. I lifted it up and it was like a beached sea turtle just saying, help. So now I had this new motivation. I wasn't just trimming back weeds, I was saving a tree. And so I started, as I was clipping away these weeds, I started thinking about how I had actually once felt like this camellia tree. I was so buried under weeds that I could barely recognize myself. And as I tell you the rest of the story, I want you to think about yourself and see if you can relate. Only a few years ago, I went through a big identity crisis, and I think that I've talked about that before. I was very sure that I was completely unsure of who I was. And just like the camellia, I had been so choked by weeds, the weeds of hurt, anger, guilt, shame, blame, unforgiveness, that I couldn't even see myself anymore. I hadn't even realized it. And I just wonder how many other people are out there like me. You know, weeds can take over so gradually, and they come out of nowhere. And maybe, you know, someone hurts our feelings. And it seems so insignificant. We just kind of push it off or we bury it down. But if we don't take care of that weed, you know what's going to happen? It's going to continue to grow. And we just kind of get used to it. Sometimes the damage is a lot more significant. And that hurt leads to feelings of anger or resentment or even guilt and shame. And we don't feel like we have the strength to really cut through that. Well, while I was cutting through some of those really thick vines, I started to think back about the hurt in my past. And I've been through some pretty horrible experiences. And I remember a time when I was thinking, my hurt and my anger is righteous. It is righteous. I have every right to harbor these feelings. I am such a nice person. I've been emotionally crushed. And Sherry, you were probably there at that time when I was going through all that. And it was no wonder I felt shame and guilt because I was a victim. And I remember hearing years ago that in the Bible, it says that we're supposed to forgive 70 times, 7 times. And when I heard that, I thought, that is impossible. I can't do that. Whoever wrote the Bible must not know anyone who's been through all of the things that I have been through, because that is just ridiculous. Well, I eventually went to counseling and I learned how to get past my past and I learned how to forgive, but it wasn't easy. But I have become a much different person, but more on that in a minute. Recently, I have been learning about how we're all vibrational creatures and we vibrate at different rates of speed. And when we're happy, we vibrate at a very high rate and we bring good things into our life. But when we're having negative emotions, our vibrational speed goes down and we don't bring good things into our life. So as I kept clipping and cutting, the tree started to emerge. And I could almost feel it or hear it sigh, this breath of relief. And then it hit me. I've heard this before, but it hit me. When God tells us to forgive, it's not for the other person. It's for us. It was really making sense as I was cutting these weeds. When we let go of all of our hurt, all of our blame, all of our negative feelings, it's like getting rid of weeds. Isn't that crazy? Those weeds are just choking us. They're killing us. I looked at this sweet camellia, finally free of all of the things that had been covering it and choking it, and it looked happy. It was free. It was light. It could breathe. It could see the sun and feel the warmth of it. It was slightly damaged, but I knew that now it had the opportunity to grow stronger, and soon it would bloom. Well, that's my message for today. And like I said, I'm going to put the pictures of those camellias in the notes section. But I'm reading Sherry's comment. Thank you, Sherry. I really would like to hear back from you. If you're listening to this live, put a little 1 in the comments. I want to see what that does. If you're listening to the replay, let me know. But I really want to know if you can relate to me. Have you ever felt like you were being choked by weeds of unforgiveness, of maybe blame? Yeah, let me know. And give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Definitely share this with somebody that you think might be able to benefit from it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. All right, I will talk to you soon. Take care.